Yeah, the next exercise is exercise 7, one figure, 3 ways. So we choose 3 pencils. So what is the first thing that you do? You choose one inset and trace it in 3 different ways. So I take a circle. Okay. Oh, sorry, this is 3 figures, not one figure, please. This is 3 figures, 3 different ways. I've taken the first. I've traced it in one direction. I've taken the second. 3 different colors you have to use though. Okay, I'm using the same. So this is second. And then my third, maybe I take a square. Okay, that is done. But they have told one color. So you can use only one color, but I have used multiple colors here. So read your question. Okay, so if they have told completely with one color, so fill in with one color, whatever it was purple, you fill in with one color. Fill the rest with the other color, whatever is the rest of the portion, I would fill with my second color. So that's the circle. I would be coloring it with my second color. So this portion also you color it second color. And then the last portion you color it with whatever you have it in your triangle portion. Okay. So this would be your 7th exercise. The last exercise is going to be designing. So you have to work with children to work on the designing. So children can now learn anything. You give them the entire metal insets part of it. They can actually make their own creative art. They can fill whatever they want to do it. They can use any kind of color pencils they want to create it, and they can actually fill it. So that would help the little ones to actually learn about pattern making using our Montessori, the metal insets that they have actually learned it. So that was one of the beautiful exercise. So to quickly ramp up, like how many exercises that we actually had. We started with double outline. Okay, so no choosing of multiple colors, one with an outward and an inward tracing. Then on double outline with filled in, we had multiple stages, stage A, B, and C. First stage was lines apart, second was lines closer, the third was completely filled in. Okay. Now in third, we applied on the dark and the lighter pressure. Again, here we saw ABC stages, half dark, half light, dark to light progressively, light to dark progressively. So this was there for us to actually work. Then we started working on contrasting figures using multiple colors. And we wanted to see how children are able to cope up with integration of multiple shapes together with patterns. Then we had our 5, 6, 7, 8 exercises, which went a little progressive. You wanted the children to experience and be a little bit more creative. That is when you gave them the, questions like, why don't you color one shape in one color? Why don't you fill them in completely one color? Rest with the second color. Do it in multiple ways. You teach children about different directions. You teach them about the pressures and all of that. So all these were the different ways that we could actually bring in for working with children whenever it comes down to metal insets. Okay. That is one of the beautiful exercise, I could say. And children love doing this. And the only thing is like why we actually want them to work on this metal insets at the early ages is because when they're tracing, they're being very careful. And when you give them these insets, the children are concentrating as they're holding that colored pencil. And whenever they're moving, you could see how careful and how concentratingly they are actually working on tracing that particular outline. So at the beginning, as teachers, what we always notice is since they have tiny little hands, they even struggle to hold a pencil, correct? So now imagine you're asking them to trace. That needs a lot of pressure. It needs a lot of patience. So before even the children are working on writing, you want to focus on their finger strength. You want them to give that control. You want them to have that coordination as when they are trying to do certain shape writing on other things. So that is where the metal insets come in Montessori. And Dr. Montessori also said it is one of the key material in our Montessori lab itself, because it helps us to work on not only on the fine motor skills, but it is also helping the children to learn on the geometric shapes. It's right. So they're learning about the lines, they're learning about the vertices, they're learning about the angles, they're learning about how many edges it has, how many sides it has, right? So it is not only about learning shapes, it's even much more beyond tracing and learning on these particular shapes. So this helps them to work on refining their motor skills, one, improving the grip of their hand, and it is also helping them to prepare for the beautiful handwriting. So that's the reason we learned today the metal insets, which is one of the foundational pre-writing activity that is done in a Montessori class. Okay. So do you have any other specific benefits? You can let me know using this.
Kids are concentrating more on what they are doing, ma'am. The first thing is focus. They can sit, they'll develop patience
Mm-hmm.
to do it in a fine way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one which I found with the basic age group.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, Sitting tolerance is improving.
Sitting tolerance is improving. Very good.
Okay.
So you can note down,
Exercise
others can
activity.
note down because these are some of your Viva questions. So whenever you work on your practicals, the first thing that they ask is like, what is the purpose of this exercise? You don't have to by heart everything from the book. Now we know metal insets is for tracing. It's a pre-writing essential skill. Now you start working on it. Somebody said it is strengthening the fine motor skills. It's helping them to work on the pincer grip. When there is a good pincer grip, that means the wrist movement is developed, it is strengthened. They need a lot of good hand muscles for writing. So you can list out all these points. And as Purni was telling, they are having that concentration when they're doing. Don't you think that tracing the shape with that precision is also enhancing their control?
Mm.
So a lot of hand-eye coordination. So you can write that. It improves hand-eye coordination
It improves.
and steady hand movements. When we are applying pressure, I need my hand movement should be very steady. But if you see with the younger children, they're always in a hurry. They either want to do it completely, their hand movements are not that steady. So here is where we are encouraging them to support when they are tracing to have a very smooth, steady hand movements. This is very much required for writing. So this becomes one of your pre-writing skills also. Okay.
Uh,
So
Ma'am, this metal inset, do you have any videos? Because it's
we
a
do
new,
have,
it's
we
a big
do have.
machine. Yeah.
We do have
If
a
you,
lot of
yeah,
ones. Like say,
yeah.
suppose in case if I have multiple shapes, if
Okay.
to integrate it with and make a different impressions on it, we can definitely show it to our children. Now, say suppose in case if I have anything like this, say multiple ones, if at all if you want to have multiple things, the first thing that what we're going to be doing is like collect whatever insets that you want to do. You do an outward. Now, this is the last exercise. You're asking
Okay.
children to be more creative here. They can trace patterns in whatever way you want it. They can
Mm.
actually make, line patterns, however that they want it. They're just learning to trace. They're just learning to make the patterns, making it much more beautiful. This is the eighth example that we actually had it. We wanted the children actually to be much more creative. And
Yes,
whenever the
ma'am.
children, yeah,
No, if you have, if you could able to share videos for all the exercises, it will be very helpful, ma'am, because this is
sure,
a
sure.
vast thing and it's bit confusing for us. That is,
Sure, sure, definitely. Why not? Yeah. So
sure.
if you see, I think in Train Brain, if you go to the channel and if you
Okay.
search Metal Insets TBPS or Metal Insets IMTTI, you should find some videos on that.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. So that would be really good enough. But you have to make the presentations also in the same way. So your
Okay.
exercises should be like, if you have a proper dimensions, like say, if you're not sure about the dimensions, is it mentioned? Somebody showing me, Lakshmi showed me something. What did you show, Lakshmi? Now, I hope everybody has done all that tracings. Can we have a look at whatever you have done, traced? Because this is a for sure question. If it comes for 100 marks. If
Okay.
you get metal insets, you're through. One exercise you get and you get 100 mark. That's amazing. You should know about what is the exercise, read your question, and try to make all your impressions in a very wonderful way. Okay. Always make a square so you will know that that's the border, that's the paper. Okay. Never make only the impression. Just like how I made a square and then I made a shape. Everybody, after the class, everybody put a square around whatever you're drawing. So you will know that's the outline of the paper and you have done your impressions. Okay. That's something that we'll have to do. It's a for sure question. Yes, Lakshmi, amazingly done. Okay. So, yes, that's there. And anything else on double impressions? Let me see if I have anything on the double impression. Okay, so 4:2 ratio is what we would be taking in. And okay, so clockwise, this is related to our directions. So you can take any inset. So you start with your clockwise directions. So this is two contrasting figures. So we did it in clockwise directions. And then you're also trying to fill in. Now, when you're seeing here, filling in is also with a proper circular motions, with smaller motions, and it is being really close. And what is the other thing that we have to always remember is you can't use crayons to fill in. It has to be color pencils only. So if it is color pencils, we give color pencils only to children above 4 years of age. So it also defines me to work with children of 4 years and above to get that precision. So we never give color pencils to younger children, right? So they have to have that pencil holding ability. So this is related to my directions. So likewise, I can also have somewhere relating to multiple, what I could say, with contrasting figures. Yes.
Ma'am, the early 3 years are not ready to use these metal insert, or they can explore whatever way they want.
They can explore. They can explore.
Okay.
See, nobody is going to be stopping you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just going to give you another simple video for that. See,
Okay.
we are teaching children to work on working on their hand muscle movements. Now, say
Okay.
suppose in case if I'm using only triangle, or if I'm trying to use only a curvy linear triangle, or if
Okay.
I'm using only quatrefoil, can you see there can be multiple art
That's true. Okay.
which becomes an abstract art totally. So even in my art classes, I could encourage children to use these shapes and they can make multiple patterns out of it. This is the eighth exercise. We don't
Got
do it. Okay, you have to teach them all the multiple stages. You have to teach them how to fill in, how to color, how to make strokes, how to make all of that. So your book only gives you like these are the suggested ways that you can do it. But you can still plan it further in your eighth exercise and you tell them, okay, using five times of drawing the triangles, you can make any impression and use any stroke to fill in. Use ovals to fill in. So for every child, you give one. And you make this look like an abstract art and you give it in your classes. That's also going to be really working. So you can also choose any of the metal insets and make any kind of an art which actually gives the children to actually work on. Initially, what happens, the children will not be able to color everything properly. So how their projects might look at the beginning could be something like this. It might be a little messier. Yes. And slowly, if you see, it goes on the progression. So you can always have as a child's portfolio, how was the children's work at the beginning? They were unable to trace. As and when they practiced a little beyond, the children were able to make a better impression. And then you ask them to work on tracing patterns accordingly. Okay. So you can have the collective albums and make it as a journal. You can share it with the parent too and see how it actually goes accordingly. And that further takes into a different art forms and other things. What we need to be teaching is about the names of all these metal insets. That's more important. And along with that, you teach them how exactly to use, what are the names of the colors that you're going to be making. So teachers can also make a booklet, as an extension for each of these exercises, whatever your child had done it, you can pin them together and you can make like a booklet and you can show for example, like this. Okay. So if my teacher has completed doing this, you can pin every child's work. Like, this is my booklet one, double impression. I had used my circle. Okay. So double impression for square. And later you can also go with other booklets, So it's a double impression, but it is filling in. So like that, we can also have a progressive ones. So the children can also see If the teacher has already prepared her lessons, this is how we need to be working on. You can still be able to work on this. These are your preparations. Now you keep this as control cards and you can take it further and you can plan in your synopsis, like, these are the 5 exercises that I'm going to be working on. Clear? It's a beautiful,
Ma'am,
beautiful lesson it is. Yes.
what type of strokes do we have to teach? So this is the first question.
What type of strokes you have to teach for metal insets? Okay, let me show you one. So you can have straight lines and you can have slanting lines. You can have lines closer. Metal insets fill in patterns. I'm going to show you that 1 second. Okay, the first pattern could be something like this. Okay, so you have everything like this, which has been kept in your classes. Now, what I could show is like, this is the basic one. We do an impression, a dark and a light, 2 different colors, integration of 2 different colors, and then far apart lines with different ones. The strokes can be wavy strokes. The strokes can be lines. The strokes can be of alternative colors. It can be slants. It can be circles. Any kind of a pattern, you can actually do it. Even completely filling in is also acceptable. Okay. So if you have anything to fill in a little bit more, to make it look more creative, you can also have patterns like this too. This is completely filled in with multiple colors. This is all completely filled in. Now, can you see it's a closer line. Now, if you see this ellipsoid, it is darker pressure and then it is going with a lighter pressure. I can also have my slanting lines. So if you are slanting, okay, it's an upward slanting, downward slanting, straight lines. Okay, so it's totally whatever are your patterns in your school that you're actually working, you can actually work on the same kind of patterns. That's for metal insets. Okay, guys? Clear, right?
One last question.
Yes.
Do we have to teach all the exercises one after the other? I mean, first
Yeah,
only till
one
the
after
child.
the other. One after the other. It has to be progressive. See, for the entire month, you can do metal insets. And towards the end of the month, you can teach them an art activity, and that can also be a part of your art exercises.
But if you're choosing all the activities together, the child should be above 5 or anything, ma'am, or even the 4-year-old
See,
can also
suppose
try.
now I have 10 of you in my class.
Okay.
Now, if I'm teaching them how to trace, I'll give them, all of them will get one shape.
Okay.
One is learning circle, one is learning ellipsoid. So I can see, okay, Purni is using a circle, children. Now that's a circle. Now I can ask Leena, what is the shape that you've got? I'm doing rectangle. So teacher is simultaneously also introducing the different shapes to the class. Her intention is only to teach them how to trace. Now what we do in the next one, can we exchange it? We're also learning about to exchange and then multiple one. Then we say, okay, two of you group together. And now we're going to exchange the shapes and we're going to be tracing it one on top of the other. Then you teach them the directions of it. So in the same day, you can teach them multiple exercises if the child is able to do it. Say a class of 5 will be able to do all the exercises on the same day. If you give this to an upper KG and if you're doing it as a group learning in your classes, the child will be able to do it. No matter it is not only 40 minutes, even if you give them for 5 hours, they will do it with utmost concentration because metal insets is one such activity that they want to keep doing it.
Okay.
Right? So you can do it. It's not a problem at all. But it's like how well that you engage and what are the different exercises that you do it. So we always tell them, don't do more than 2 because you want to do it with good intention also, right? So at the beginning, till they get the hang of it and they know the names of all the shapes, do only 2 and then slowly progressive.
Ma'am, where we can do this activity, like only on the mat, or we need to use Chowki for
Chowki is
actually
better
to do?
because it's writing, right? So Chowki is better. Or on the table. Let the child sit on the table or on the chowki. They can do it. They'll have a better grip.
Okay, thank you.
A flat surface. Maths will not be really good because they'll not be able to trace it better, right? So we need a sturdy surface for that. All right. Okay. So that's our metal insets for today. And you can choose any 2 exercises from this. Whatever is the shape that is available to you, you can actually make that. If you don't have it, you can make one instead of a triangle and try to trace it. And you'll have to send this to me by tomorrow. Any 2 exercises, you can actually take it. And from your notebook itself, you can click a picture and you can send it to me. Okay, 2 exercises, but it has to be of the rightful shape. Okay, now everybody has drawn it, but you're going to be taking an A4 sheet or a colored A4 sheet, and you're going to be doing this particular exercise. On top of that particular sheet, you're going to write what is the name of the exercise. It's a double impression using 2 color pencils. You're going to be writing on the same itself. Choose any 2 and submit it by tomorrow itself. Tomorrow, we're going to meet at the same time, 4:30, and we would continue to the next lessons, that's chalkboards. All right. Thank you very much, guys. And thanks for submitting all your assignments. I think now everybody is so clear with nomenclature and classified cards. I saw all your assignments. It's so beautiful. With so much of love and dedication, each one have completed this and you have sent it. There are a few more students who have not sent it. So please try to make an effort to complete it and send it so that, you don't miss out on the track. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of load on each one's day-to-day lessons. Okay. Try to finish it. Sit back for 5-10 minutes after the class. Finish it, send it, okay, and complete it. Let's see who's going to submit the first activity for today. All right. So thank you very much. Have a great evening. Take care. And one more thing, your books have come, and the students who are in Bangalore, you can come and collect it from my office. Monday to Friday, we are open from 8:15 to 3:30. Saturdays, if you would like to collect, we're open from 8:45 till 1:30. You can come to our centers and you can collect the books. Students who want me to ship your books to your address, please personally message me your personal address along with your PIN code and the contact number. I'm going to be shipping it tomorrow. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.